Beneath the storm-choked skies of a world long forgotten, there lies a graveyard suspended in time, crumbling Farum Azula, a city devoured by chaos, by ruin, and by silence. But at its heart, hidden beyond the veil of time itself, sleeps something ancient, something divine, something broken. In the prehistoric world, before Marika's rise, and before the Golden Order strangled the world in roots of gold, it was the dragons who ruled. And above them all stood Placidusax, a many-headed Dragonlord who reigned from the storm-lashed throne of Farum Azula. He was crowned Elden Lord by an unknown god, one that has since vanished, fled, or perhaps fallen. But Farum Azula is no longer a kingdom of glory. It is a mausoleum of ruin, guarded by chosen beastmen and suspended in time. A city caught in the grip of its own decay, torn from the world it once ruled. In the age before Marika's ascension, when the Golden Order had yet to shape the world, Farum Azula was the seat of Placidusax's reign. This was a city where the dragons did not bow, but commanded the skies and the heavens themselves. But in time, the dragons faded, and their power became a whisper, carried on the wind. Placidusax, abandoned by his god, resolved to await its return, withdrawing to his seat at the heart of the storm beyond time, leaving Farum Azula to rot and collapse into oblivion. According to the remembrance of the Dragonlord, which can be obtained as a reward for defeating Placidusax, the Dragonlord, whose seat lies at the heart of the storm beyond time, is said to have been Elden Lord in the age before the Earth Tree. Once his god was fled, the Lord continued to await its return. Yet, even now, the city still stands, or perhaps hangs, as a monument to a time when the world trembled beneath the wings of dragons. Now, it exists in a state of timeless stasis, frozen between worlds, caught in the decay of its own ancient grandeur. But the question remains, what does it mean that Placidusax is locked away in such a place, seemingly outside the flow of time? His very existence defies the passage of years, the march of progress. To face Placidusax, the Tarnished must first lie down in the ruins, an action that transports them into the past, a fractured moment where the city is whole and the dragon still reigns. This act, this return to a time before, is a symbol of the fractured nature of Azula itself. To lie down is to go back in time, to step into the place where the past and present blur, where the dragon remains dormant, awaiting an end that never comes. This distortion of time is not limited to Placidusax alone. The very city of Farum Azula is a reflection of his existence, suspended in a broken, timeless state. The old Lord's talisman hints at a form now lost, 4 heads intact, wings outstretched in majesty, but what we find in Farum Azula is a husk of that ancient splendor. Placidusax shows serious signs of damage on its body. Notably, he is missing 3 of his 5 heads and the second pair of wings, in spite of the old Lord's talisman showing just 4 with complete wings. One head, lore whispers, was lost before the final betrayal, a wound, perhaps inflicted in a forgotten war, or offered in sacrifice to a god now vanished. But it was Bael the Dread, a legendary black dragon who is said to be the ancestor of the drakes or lesser dragons, who brought about the Dragonlord's greatest betrayal. In an act of treachery, Bael turned on Placidusax. Their vicious battle left both dragons with grievous injuries and loss of body parts, with Placidusax losing 2 of his heads and a second pair of wings, and with Bael losing his 2 winged arms, his pair of wings on his back, and his left leg. To this day, both of Placidusax's heads can be found on the body of Bael, still biting into his neck. Their clash ended in a stalemate, and left both gravely injured, with Bael fleeing the field of battle to the Shadow Realm. As vengeance for Bale's transgression, Placidusax had some of his followers take mortal forms as humanoid priestesses and travel to the lands of men, where they would recruit human warriors to their cause. They established the practice of dragon communion in order to hunt down and punish Bale and his descendants, the Drakes. The human warriors were lured to this cause with the promise of great power, which could only be acquired by consuming the heart of a Drake. Bale was pursued by Florisax, a servant of Placidusax who sought to recruit mortals in the hunt for Bale. Florisax was once one of the immortal ancient dragons herself long ago, but she relinquished her timeless gravel stone scales to aid in Bale's destruction, assuming a weaker form. Florisax's objective was to spread the Dragonlord's dragon communion, for the sole purpose of hunting down and slaying the Drakes, so as to punish them for their ancestors' sin. Dragon Slayer Aigan, an obsessive Drake warrior, was one such mortal. Aigan faced Bale, but was left broken in both body and spirit by their battle.
Bale! Vile Bale! Oh, terror incarnate! There is life in me yet! I will soon feast upon your heart! Mark my words! You too shall know fear!
Yura, the Hunter of Bloody Fingers, was one of the warriors who hunted dragons, but he abstained from consuming their hearts to avoid losing himself. As time passed, the practice would continue without influence from the priestesses. However, many practitioners would forget the original purpose of these hunts and would simply carry on consuming hearts in pursuit of personal gain. Some Drakes have become aware of this practice, such as Exites, the Decaying, who even after succumbing to Melania's wrath would never forget his hatred, and thus keeps himself stationed at the entrance of the Cathedral of Dragon Communion, so that he may kill or deter any would-be practitioners before they can reach the altar. Placidusax's form is a visual representation of the broken legacy of the dragons. Even in death, Placidusax is a reminder that what once was whole is now shattered, a king reduced to a shadow of his former glory. His existence and his ruin symbolizes the fall of the dragons and the rise of a new, oppressive order.